Welcome to Taters Tuesday,
Yay.
featuring a disturbingly wet sleeping bag.
Oh, I don't know why it got so wet.
That's what she
No,
said.
don't. Hey there. We have a visitor in camp this morning.
See, coffee's so awesome, people even want the recycled coffee. So we were just sitting here watching that deer lick at something, and we're assuming it's pee. And so Taters was asking the obvious question, which is, what if I drank a lot of coffee and I peed in like a giant spiral, like running around while peeing outside the tent? Would the deer be like circling around? Because that would be kind of cool.
So I am just about as happy as I can be on this morning because we are now on day 8 of being out in the wilderness.
AKA she's just about as stinky as she can be.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, Matt hasn't
Don't look at
been
the deer
willing
like
to
that.
cuddle with me in like 7 days.
I've been trying to do fist bumps. Like, yes, there, honey. There you go.
So that does make me a little bit sad, but it is much overwhelmed by the fact that we haven't had to deal with cars, crowds,
Wi-Fi,
money,
showers,
people wanting me to do things
hot food.
in like 8 days. We've had plenty of hot food.
Yeah, backpacker food. Reconstituted eggs.
So all the stress has just fallen away,
fetuses.
and life is just so good.
I'm hurting.
Well, I love the ball cap. It seems to have done something weird to my hair. There's like a rope going across the front of my face.
Wait. So she's got frizzy hair that she's not touching for like weeks at a time, but it's the ball cap. It's not.
Okay, my old hat didn't do this.
And she's old enough to be forgetting things. Oh, I got pictures of you with crazy woman hairs in that other hat. So there was an annoying amount of mosquitoes last night, but the advantage of that first night in Glacier is it calibrated what bad mosquitoes mean. And as expected, there was somebody else down here. So for a good while there, we were on trail that very visibly was heavily used by stock. All the blowdowns had been cleared, there was horse poop all over, and the trail was really beat up. Seems like we're back onto mainly a foot maintained trail.
Up until today, this trail has been really wet, so I never had to carry basically any water with me because anytime you got thirsty, there was a stream. Downside, our socks, shoes, and feet were wet pretty much all day the last 14 days or so. Today we're going to be up on the divide itself, so for the first time we're going to have to carry a significant amount of water. Matt and I each have about 1.5 liters to get through a 12-mile dry stretch. Plus side, our socks might actually be dry today.
So when it comes to hiking, Taters and I are largely very compatible. We're generally okay doing the same sort of hikes, starting at the same time, speeds reasonably close, etc., etc. Probably the biggest difference we have is our feelings about coming off trail. So for example, today we have been out 8 days at the end of today. Compared with most of the other thru hikers I've met, talked to, etc., we prefer to stay on the trail and avoid towns more than most people. I know a lot of people that move a little faster than us, but go into towns at every opportunity. Like back at Benchmark, a lot of people went into Augusta. The difference between us is more the extremity of how long we stay out of town. We have the opportunity today to hitch into Lincoln, get internet, a shower, laundry, etc., which will have made for an 8-day carry on this side, and then probably a 10-day stretch on the other until we get to Butte, where we have a hotel planned. To me, 8 and 10 days, that's a pretty good, run, considering the consumables like power, etc. we have. To her, she'd much rather bypass Lincoln. Now, for the most part, being out of contact, no big deal. But when I am slaving away on daily videos, and I've got 10 of them in the can ready to upload, and I'm looking at potentially another 10 days before I'd be able to get anything up, that does start to bug me just a bit. And within the next 2 days, I will have expended my 30K of battery capacity, and we'll really need about 4 or 5 hours of a wall plug to get everything topped off.
We will reach High Divide Outfitter, which is right on the trail, in about 2 days. However, we'll get there middle of the day. So it's more of a question of, would you rather charge overnight or be sitting around during good hiking time during the day? And of course, we have no reason to believe that internet will be decent there.
To me, yes, it's a hassle to hitch in and out of town. Yeah, it's going to cost a little more, but the idea of doing a 20-mile hike, getting a shower, getting everything topped off, and then being back at the trailhead fresh and ready to go in the morning for the next 10 days is rather tempting. I am really liking the being up on the ridgeline though. We're finally getting those views I was hoping for. This is more what I pictured when I thought CDT. Almost nobody out here, just bopping along the ridgelines, dodging thunderstorms. For a while there, we kept running into people who were flip-flopping coming north from Yurt, but we haven't hit anybody doing that for a couple of days. And as near as we can tell, all of the southbounders like us are spread out little onesie-twosies every day or two, which is nice. This is more like the PCT in 2020, except with less online death threats. It got kind of weird for a while there. So off and on, we are able to get 1 or 2 bars of either LTE or 5G on AT&T up here, but it really isn't consistent. I was used to on the PCT and the AT being able to kind of check it on different aspects of the trail. So, okay, if I know that Bend, Oregon is off in that direction, wait till the trail has me up high or generally in that direction and pick up internet. I can't tell what's going on here other than maybe it's bouncing off something, because I'll get 2 bars for like 30 seconds and then nothing. So I don't know what these things are. They look like a bee, they act like a fly, but they are all over the place, and I basically get swarmed anytime I stop. They've also been all over our pack, so I think maybe they're after the salt or something like that. And I stopped to use the internet, and we have not 1 but 2 other thru hikers. There were none of these guys around when I sat down. And there's not a hive or anything, they just always seem to chase us down wherever we are.
This would be one of my less favorite sections here, looking down on yet another massive burn area. This area, along with huge swaths of the Scapegoat Wilderness, burned in a big fire in 1988. You might think it would have recovered more than that based on how long ago that was. It's really sad and fascinating how slowly forests like this can recover after a big fire. Some pretty flowers up here, at least. The trail here goes right over the top of Green Mountain, and it's been a steep, windy climb. And here's the view from the top.
I swear we must really smell like shit, because the moment we stop, we've got flies all over.
So unfortunately, we didn't have any ramen for this section because it wouldn't fit in our last resupply box. And we're both really missing it, but we usually carry an extra instant mashed potatoes as kind of an emergency dinner in case we run late. So we made that for lunch. Oh, you were just saying it was pretty good.
For my expectations were very low. This is why people like me, expectations through the floor, and then, hey, I'm only pretty bad.
this is more like it. Very glad to be out of the burned area, back in some live forest. Something's definitely up with this part of the forest though. See the number of trees down there that still have their branches and some of their leaves but look gray? I'm guessing those are ones killed by bark beetles.
And there is that famous yurt.
There's a yurt along the trail. Apparently it was built by some researchers to stay in while they were studying eagles. Kind of reminds me of the Muir Pass hut. It's just missing a rather large man wearing a Speedo taking pictures of himself out front. This sign and book that we found in the yurt, we think is probably the most complete record of southbound CDT hikers we've found so far. And there are a lot of them coming through starting in late June. And a bunch of them are from other countries. We got Japan, Hong Kong, Finland, Denmark, Canada, Australia. That's pretty cool. Like the artwork.
And there we got Rogers Pass. So our general plan is to stay somewhere in the vicinity probably, because this is going to be our last access to water for 15 miles or so. So we got a pit toilet here, but we decided to stick with Blindy's preference and not go into Lincoln. So we have another day and some change to the outfitters, and hopefully they'll have a shower and such. So unfortunately, the only flat spot down there is already taken, and we don't want to be right off the freeway. So we're currently bushwhacking around trying to find something usable. So I usually do my best to not be set up where I'm visible from the road, but we just got no option here. We're going to try this.
Normally we do our best to avoid staying at a road like this. The situation here was that from this point we've got about a 13-mile water carry, 13-mile dry stretch until our next water source. And so if we were going to continue up the trail and camp later on down the trail, we would need to carry about 6 liters of water with us, and probably still get thirsty on that section tomorrow. So instead we're camping here near the water, near the bathroom, and unfortunately near the road. Home sweet home for the night.